Hey friends, it's Lex at LexReads. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking you through some of the series that I am not going to finish. I read a lot of YA, so I start series? What is the plural of series? Seri? It's not seri. I think it's series, just series. I start a lot of them, and sometimes I just don't feel passionately enough about a series to continue on, so I'm going to share with you today what some of those series are. Let's just do it. The first one is the only one that isn't YA, and that's The Guy on the Right, which is a series by, I think her name is Kate Stewart. I read the first one for my Chandler Ainsley Road test, which I will link down below if you want to watch it, where I read some of Chandler's favorites and some of her recommendations to see just how much our tastes line up. It was cute, it was fine, it was romance, which isn't typically my thing. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. It's about these two characters in college. It is sold kind of as a love triangle dealio. It did not feel at all to me like a love triangle dealio. There was like 2 pages where there was a love triangle. So if you hate love triangles, don't let that put you off. But I won't be continuing on because first of all, I don't care quite enough about the characters to keep going, but also I just I'm not in love with the plot. The plot it isn't hitting it for me. It's not for me. So I'm just not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. The next one might be a little bit controversial. I'm not gonna finish the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I read Cinder when I was, I think, 16 or 17, and absolutely fell in love with it. I thought it was amazing, phenomenal, one of the best books I've ever read. And then I went out and I bought the next 2 in the series. I don't even own the whole series. I own Scarlet and I own Cress. And then I was so excited and I picked up Scarlet and I got about 10 chapters in, 10, I don't even know how many chapters in. Got about 100 pages in and DNF'd it. And then about a year later, I reread Cinder and was like, oh my god, this book is so good. And then I picked up Scarlet and I got about 100 pages into it. And then I DNF'd it. I have now DNF'd Scarlet 3 times. I just don't like the book. So I'm not going to keep reading on in the series because I think there's no point in torturing myself to get through Scarlet to only maybe enjoy the rest of the series. So I'm just not going to do it. This next one, I'm a little bit on the fence about. Number 3, it's the Grim Lovelies series. I read Grim Lovelies in January of this year, and I did like it. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, either a 3 or a 4 out of 5 stars. And it was fine. It was pretty good. I liked it enough. But I've since finished the first book in a few other series and feel like pulled to continue on, you know? I read a book for Queer Readathon, We Set the Dark on Fire, and immediately pulled up Amazon and added We Unleash the Merciless Storm, I think is what the sequel is called, into my cart because I want it, because I want to keep going and I want to know what happens. And I don't quite feel that way about Grim Lovelies. It was left out on a pretty solid cliffhanger, right? So, like, for all intents and purposes, I should feel pulled and urged to continue on, but I don't. So I don't think I'm going to. I might later be like, you know what? I am going to finish this series. But as of right now, I genuinely have no plans to do that. The next one is another book that I really liked, but then started the sequel and was like, that's Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerall, I think is by who that's by. I don't know where my copy of Ever the Hunted is specifically, but this is my copy of Ever the Brave, which is the sequel. I've DNF'd this once. I'm gonna try and give it another shot. The thing is, I like a little sprinkling of love with my fantasy. I like a side of love with the main course that is fantasy or sci-fi or contemporary or whatever it is. But I don't usually like a main course of love with a side of fantasy. And that's what this series is. I wanted it to be more fantasy than love, and the first one was a pretty even split. It was like half love and half fantasy. the first however many pages of this I read, this shit love, man. It's a love story. It's a romance that is pretending to be fantasy. Well, it is fantasy, but, like, you know what I mean. And it's also pretty long. It's about 450, 60 pages. That's too long. I don't care that much. So, even if I do get through this, which I find kind of doubtful, I definitely don't foresee myself picking up the third book in the series, because there's more, and I don't care that much. The next book series I actually have in a pile to be unhauled as soon as the world is a little bit less on fire, and unhauling is like a real option, like as soon as I can take the books away. And that's the Marked series, which is actually called the House of Night series. I started reading this series when I was probably too young to be reading this series. I think I was about 12 or 13. And I own the first 7 or so. There's a million of these books. And I read about 4 of them and then gave up. And then I've just had these like 6 books or whatever on my shelf for so long. And I just don't think I'm ever going to read them. As my tastes have evolved, as I've gotten older, in a lot of ways, a lot of my old favorite series have remained favorites. You know, I still reread Twilight pretty frequently. I reread The Hunger Games at least once a year. I reread Harry Potter and the Percy Jackson series all the time. I've never once felt gravitated to reread any of these books. Now this next one is interesting. This is the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. I've read the trilogy. So I've read Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant. I have not read 4, which I think is technically considered a companion novel. I hate Allegiant, not for the reason that most people hate Allegiant. I hate Allegiant for a very different reason than people hate Allegiant. But Allegiant just put such a bad taste in my mouth that I don't know if I'll ever read more of Veronica Roth. She did release a new book, or is going to release. I think it comes out, either it just came out pretty recently or it comes out soon. And it sounds interesting, and it sounds like something I would like a subversion of the Chosen One plot. But Allegiant left such a bad taste in my mouth that I don't know if I ever really want to read any more Veronica Roth. So we'll see. I don't ever plan on reading 4, so we're leaving this trilogy as is. I don't want to do it. And there you have it, folks. Those are some books that I'm not going to finish the series for. I'm sure there will be more in the future. I'm sure there are more that I have abandoned already that I just kind of forgot about. But all in all, not my thing, man. Not my thing. I don't like it. I don't like it. We're going to call that null void good. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Go down below and let me know what you think about any of these book series. Maybe you can sell me on finishing the Lunar Chronicles. Who knows? I can be convinced, and I have been convinced before, of things weirder. So, who's to say? Not me. Reminder that I'm posting a video every day in April this month. So, this is like the 18th video or something? 19th? So we still got a good 10 days, a good week and a half left of a video every day. I have some fun content coming up. I'm really excited about it. I hope you come back and hang out. Subscribe, hit like. Please come chat with me in the comments. I really like chatting with you guys. So, yeah, thank you so much. Goodbye, friends. Mwah.